Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. I hope you had a great weekend. Great to be back with you again another week. Let's get to it. We are going to start with some comments from Erica Kirk. This is a story from FoxNews.com. Erica Kirk is calling on the judge to reject a motion to curtail news cameras from the courtroom. The question of whether cameras should be in the courtroom when Tyler Robinson is tried. And she makes a pretty compelling case. She told Jesse Waters, there were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. So this is a pretty high-profile case. Robinson has not appeared physically in person, hasn't even shown his face during the last two public hearings. So Erica Kirk is saying, why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not because I've seen what the case is built on. So she said, let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact generations to come. So Robinson, of course, will be facing charges in Charlie Kirk's death, potential death penalty. There were stories recently about whether he would be able to have to wear a prison uniform, or he could be dressed in a business suit. And the judge said, okay, you could dress in the business suit. They also wanted to remove the shackles. Isn't it amazing? People who perpetuate these crimes, and then they don't want to be seen in custody. Somehow now it's prejudicial if we see him under arrest, if we see him in an orange jumpsuit. You're charged with the crime. Pretty good reasons why. Pretty compelling evidence as to why he has been charged. So we'll see. But Erica Kirk, I just have so much admiration for her. And you think about it, her, not only the death of her husband and dealing with all of that, but then becoming the CEO of Turning Point USA, trying to follow in his footsteps, working with other groups. Now the trial of Tyler Robinson, pretty amazing. Hard not to admire that young woman. All right. President Trump on 60 Minutes. Let's go through some of the video of President Trump on 60 Minutes. I'm going to kind of pop my way through some of this because this is like a half hour long. And let's pick it up. We'll start right here. I welcome your comments throughout. Please don't be afraid to share your comments as you got them. I love seeing your comments, so please join in into the discussion. So let's get going.
Nobody can do that. Not one Republican would ever do that.
My understanding is if those healthcare subsidies are not extended, premiums will double for many of the people that are on it. And I was looking into it. 3/4 of these people will see their healthcare premiums double. Live in states where you won in the last election. I mean, even here in
states
Florida
where you
has the
won,
highest number of residents on Obamacare in the country.
And I'm saying we can fix it, Nora.
You have helped end these government shutdowns in the past
I
when
did.
they came about,
I did.
and you did it by bringing.
I'm very good at it,
You
but I'm
brought
not going
members
to
of
do it by.
Congress
I'm
in
not going to
to
do
the
it by
White House.
extortion. I'm not going to do it by being extorted by the Democrats who have lost their way.
Extorted
There's
by the
something
Democrats.
wrong with these people.
So then what happens on November
is a
15th when the
basket
troops
case.
don't get a paycheck?
Schumer is a basket case, and he.
Now, I'm going to stop the president for just a moment. The way Nora O'Donnell interrupts him and just continues to talk. Now, granted, Trump is an interrupter himself, but he's also the president. He's also the subject of the interview. Versus when you're an interviewer, okay, if he's speaking, you can stop. You can ask your question when he's done. I don't know. I think maybe the media is learning that you just can't let Trump just continue to talk.
He has nothing to lose. He's become. I just left Japan.
Talk to me about Schumer.
Kamikaze pilot.
Sounds like it's not going to get solved, the shutdown.
It's going to get solved. Yeah. Oh, it's going to get solved.
How?
We'll get it solved. Eventually, they're going to have to vote.
You're saying the Democrats will capitulate.
I think they have to. And if they don't vote, that's their problem. Now, I happen to agree with something else. I think we should do the nuclear option. This is a totally different nuclear, by the way. It's called.
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed
you have got to be kidding
zero
me.
memory collapse.
This is what I hate about
The secret,
YouTube.
the bill.
All right.
Ending the filibuster.
But to do that, he'd need Senate Majority Leader John Thune to change Senate rules.
We talked about this
Did you see
last
John
week.
Thune said today they're
I
not
know
going to do
John
that?
doesn't. Well, John and a few other. But you know what? The Republicans have to get tougher. If we end the filibuster, we can do exactly what we want. We're not going to lose power. The theory is, then we'll do it. But then when they get into power someday, they'll do it. That's true. But you know what?
So you think John
We're
Thune-
here right now. No, I like John Thune. I think he's terrific. But I disagree with him on this point.
He said today he wasn't going to do it.
Well, that's too bad.
So far, the shutdown hasn't spooked the stock market.
We talked about that last week as to whether or not Trump should do the nuclear option. And I really, and I'm not going to revisit that. I talked about that pretty extensively last week. Let's see what else Trump gets to here. She talks a lot. Nora O'Donnell does.
And the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No.
Okay, this is where he's talking. She's asking him about the ICE raids. ICE raids.
I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
Well, you promised in your campaign that you were going to deport the worst of the worst. Violent criminals,
we're doing that.
Rapists.
Well, that's what we're doing.
But a lot of the people that your administration has arrested and deported aren't violent criminals. Landscapers, nannies, construction workers,
landscapers
farm
who are criminals.
workers.
Yeah. No, look.
The family of
I
U.S.
need
service
landscapers
members.
and I need farmers more than anybody, okay?
Is it your intent to deport people who do not have a criminal record?
We have to start off with a policy, and the policy has to be you came into the country illegally, you're going to go out. However, you've also seen you're going to go out, we're going to work with you, and you're going to come back into our country legally.
When will you declare?
Okay, now that is I had a story early this morning, and then I misplaced it as we started talking about it. That is the clip that I really was looking for. And what the president is saying, I'm going to scroll it back here a little bit and run this again. Now listen to what he's saying.
In 100 years.
I know your time is limited, so I do want to make sure I get through more of these topics.
Sure.
Immigration. You campaigned on immigration. You largely won the election on a promise to
a
close
great
the
job,
border,
don't you think?
and you succeeded on that.
Don't you
Illegal
think?
crossings at the southern border are at a 55-year low.
That's
More
incredible.
recently, Americans have been watching videos of ICE
Here
tackling
we
a young
go.
mother, tear gas being used in a Chicago residential neighborhood, and the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
Well, you promised in your campaign that you were going to deport the worst of the worst. Violent criminals,
we're doing that.
rapists.
Well, that's what we're
But
doing.
a lot of the people that your administration has arrested and deported.
See, but a lot of these people, they're innocent people. They're innocent people. And what Trump says here, I think, is really, really important, where he says, then we're going to give them a chance to come back into the country. But you got to do it legally. I just do not understand what is so hard to grasp about this.
Aren't violent criminals, landscapers, nannies, construction workers,
landscapers
farm
who are criminals.
workers,
Yeah. No, look.
the family of
I
U.S.
need
service
landscapers
members.
and I need farmers more than anybody, okay?
Is it your intent to deport people who do not have a criminal record?
We have to start off with a policy, and the policy has to be you came into the country illegally, you're going to go out. However, you've also seen you're going to go out, we're going to work with you, and you're going to come back into our country legally.
When will you declare?
You're going to go out, we're going to work with you, and you are going to come back into the country legally. And first of all, I'm amazed that CBS put that in there and shared that. So that was a let's see what more they tack on here, but that is just a huge point.
Mission accomplished on immigration.
Well, it takes a long time because, probably I say 25 million people were let into our country. A lot of people say it was 10 million people, but whether it was 10 or I believe I'm much closer to the right number. Of the 25, many of them should not be here. But we're cleaning up our cities. I campaigned on crime, but I've done a much better job on crime than I thought. The crime numbers are way down, even though we have a lot more people in our country that really shouldn't be here, and many of them are stone cold, hard criminals.
The president has ordered the National Guard to 5 cities: Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Portland.
What are your thoughts on the
Chicago,
National
and
Guard in
Memphis.
all these cities?
This past Tuesday, while speaking to American troops in Japan, you talked about U.S. cities that are having trouble with crime. Right. And you said, if we need more than the National Guard, we'll send more than the National Guard. What does that mean, send more than the National Guard?
Well, if you had to send in the Army or if you had to send in the Marines, I'd do that in a heartbeat. You have a thing called the Insurrection Act. You know that, right? Do you know that I could use that
right?
immediately, and no judge can even challenge you on that. But I haven't chosen to do it because I haven't felt we need it.
So you're going to send the military into American cities?
Well, if I wanted to, I could. If I wanted to use the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act has been used routinely by presidents, and if I needed it, that would mean I could bring in the Army, the Marines, I could bring in whoever I want.
I
haven't
think that
chosen
would
to use it. I hope you give me credit for
be
that.
going too
I
far.
want to ask you about another matter. James Comey, John Bolton,
here we
Letitia
go.
James were all recently indicted.
Are you wearing 7 layers and still freezing your man nipples? You need the
Can
new
you believe these
300
ads? Oh,
There's a
my
pattern
God.
to these names. They're all public figures who have publicly denounced you. Is it political
You
retribution?
know what? You know who got indicted? The man you're looking at. I got indicted, and I was innocent. And here I am because I was able to beat all of the nonsense that was thrown at me. And yet, when you go after a dirty cop like Comey, or a guy like Bolton, who I hear I don't know anything about it. I hear he took records all over the place. Who knows? Letitia James is a terrible, dishonest person, in my opinion.
Did you instruct the Department of Justice to go after
Not
them?
in any way, shape, or form. No, you don't have to instruct them because they were so dirty, they were so crooked, they were so corrupt that the honest people we have, Pam Bondi's doing a very good job, Kash Patel's doing a very good job. The honest people that we have go after them automatically.
But in a Truth Social post from September addressed to Attorney General Pam Bondi, President Trump endorsed the idea that former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James were, quote, guilty as hell, and wrote, quote, justice must be served now. 5 days later, James Comey was indicted. He pled not guilty, and so did Letitia James and President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton.
Is this retribution on your part?
No, it's the opposite. I think I've been very mild-mannered. You're looking at a man who was indicted many times, and I had to beat the rap. Otherwise, I couldn't have run for president. They tried to get me not to run for president by going after me and by indicting me.
So far,
all right, I'm going to leave it there. You can find the entire thing on YouTube if you didn't see Donald Trump's interview with 60 Minutes, but it really is crazy. Nora O'Donnell. Okay, also, let's take a look at what's going on at the New York Post. Here's where big Wall Street firms are moving as New York City looks poised to elect a socialist mayor. They're leaving. Look at the story below that. Nearly 1 million New Yorkers ready to flee New York City if Mamdani becomes mayor, possibly igniting the largest exodus in history. People just want none of this. They want to get out. It's crazy. So around 765 million people are preparing to leave, with about 9% of New Yorkers saying they would definitely leave if Mamdani is elected as mayor. So people are just ready to get out. That is crazy to me. So what's going on with Wall Street firms here? Let's see what they're saying. Yeah, a fast-growing business hub down south is beckoning to people who are looking at leaving. So that is absolutely incredible. The number of people who are looking at getting out if he becomes the mayor of New York City. And I honestly, just based on what I'm seeing, it certainly appears he's going to win. Certainly appears like he will win. And I just find that, we'll see. The election's not been held yet, but it's a little bit mind-blowing to see what they're doing in New York City and this guy, his background, where he comes from, and what things he's been saying, where he would take that city. We've talked about it before. Do you just let New York City fail? Do you let them fail? And would that be a sign then to others? See, I don't think that there is anything that will wake up the far left in this country. I think you got a good number of them who the effort is to really to turn things upside down. They want to destroy the United States as it is. I really believe that there are a number of people who literally they want to destroy the United States. So they have no intention of backing off. And as we were talking this morning about the Democratic Party and, trying to the problems that they're having as a party, honestly, Mamdani and the left, it's a big part of their issue. And they are not going away. Bernie Sanders is not going away. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they are not going away. They are doubling and tripling down on the rich and it's just absolutely incredible. All right, I'm going to leave it there today. You have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. A big thank you. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade, the folks that are here each and every day. I hope you'll become one of them. If you're not a follower of mine on Facebook, please subscribe on Facebook. It would be very, very much appreciated. And I'll leave it there for today. Hope you have a great Monday. Until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and gone.